There's something about certain men, something that lingers in a woman's mind without a single loud word. He doesn't brag. He doesn't push. He doesn't perform. He simply exists, with a quiet that pulls everything toward him. When he walks into a room, the temperature changes. People notice not because he announced himself, but because his presence quietly insists on being felt. The Stoics would call this true power, not in shouting, but in stillness. Noise demands attention. Silence commands it. Women don't fall for noise. They fall for a man who carries his inner life without begging for approval. Maybe you've seen it. A woman who ignored everyone else suddenly becomes restless around the man who barely speaks. She starts wondering, what does his quiet hide? She finds herself decoding every glance, every pause, every silence. That curiosity turns into compulsion. She remembers the way he looked at her, the way he listened like he was carving her words in stone. Not because he performed, but because he didn't need to. So, what creates that pull? First, restraint. A man who doesn't overshare forces her imagination to work. When he leaves the silence, she fills it with questions, with scenarios, with desire. The unknown becomes a magnet. The less you give, the more she invents. That's not manipulation. That's psychology, second self-possession. Stoicism teaches that power comes from what you control your mind, your responses, not from chasing anyone. A man who is emotionally contained doesn't scramble for validation. He doesn't double text, over-explain, or dance for approval. He moves steadily, calmly. That steadiness is seductive because it promises safety without desperation. Third, depth. Mystery isn't about playing hard to get. It's about being hard to replace. A man who has faced himself, who has sat with his solitude, who has battled his fears, speaks less because his life already speaks for him. Women sense that. They sense a man who doesn't perform because his existence already has weight. When a woman obsesses over a man's silence, she's not chasing nothing. She's chasing what she senses beneath it. Presence, strength, depth. His stillness tells her, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to remain unmoved by you. And that paradox, a man who doesn't need her, is exactly what makes her want him. So if you want that effect, start with yourself. Practice quiet. Read, train, move without applause. Learn to be enough alone. Be sharp with words, but never waste them. Give attention generously, but give yourself sparingly. Let your silence be a container for worth, not a wall of indifference. Because when you choose yourself first, when your life is full without an audience, you become rare, and rarity breeds longing. The men who master this don't play games. They live deliberately. They invite the right people in and let the rest wonder. Stay dangerous. Stay stoic.